Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, August 10th. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms last night passed through the mid-Atlantic region. Many of that activity produced some heavy rainfall in a short period of time, and that kind of a pattern will continue later today and tonight with more showers and thunderstorms for the mid-Atlantic region. Certainly there can be some heavy rainfall, maybe even some flash flooding, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line, places like D.C., Maryland, Virginia, where there's been more on the side of heavy rainfall in recent days and weeks compared to north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. But again, an unsettled weather pattern continues for at least another 24 hours or so. But then, a comfortable, refreshing air mass will blast into the northeastern part of the nation for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this particular comfortable air mass will slide all the way down the coast into the southeastern states, which is certainly somewhat unusual this time of the year to see a refreshing air mass, a less humid air mass drop all the way down into places like the Carolinas, even into Georgia and the rest of the southeastern part of the U.S. Let's start off with a quick look at the tropical situation. We do have a system in the eastern Atlantic right here that will continue to move to the west-northwest over the next several days. Certainly has a chance to intensify. Nothing too dramatic in the near term in terms of intensification. Something we'll continue to monitor over the next few days, certainly as we're getting into the middle part of the month of August. There are signs for an increase in activity on the tropical scene, and certainly that's not unusual as we are ramping up to the climatological peak of the Atlantic Basin tropical season, which usually falls around the middle part of September. Certainly we have had a slow start, a below normal start in the Atlantic Basin. I for one expected an above normal year this year. You can check out the tropical outlook on the weather website, and indeed it very well could turn out to be an above active season. Most of the tropical storms that do form the Atlantic Basin form from this point on. Certainly there have been many years where we have systems in June and July, but again, the vast majority of the storms do form from here on out. But with such a slow start, it will really take a lot to catch up to the normal and then become above normal. It certainly can happen, on the table, and again, signs point to an increase of activity from here on out. Well, before we walk away from the tropical talk here, I'd like to take a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly patterns going forward. This is averaged out over 5-day periods from last night's ensemble run of the GFS. We're starting with the current 5-day period, and notice a little bit of a trough here in the eastern states right now, and we'll move forward here. These are rolling 5-day averages from the current 5-day period all the way out into later this month, and then over the next 5 days or so, we have this upper level trough associated with that refreshingly cool air mass that's on the way for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in this part of the country. And again, it not only improves conditions over the Great Lakes, New England, and the Mid-Atlantic region, but all the way down into the Carolinas and Georgia, somewhat unusual for this time of the year. But let's move beyond that as we get into now the middle part of August. Right here, the 5-day period we're seeing right here extends from the 16th of August to the 21st of August. Still hanging on to that upper level low over the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic region that keeps it below normal, most likely, not only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday but for the first half of next week in terms of temperatures. Then we move forward here to later this month, and this is the one thing I wanted to point out right in this particular region right here. This is something I always look for this time of the year. When you see high pressure, both at the surface level and also aloft, building to the northeast of New England, let's say, southeastern part of Canada, or even in northern New England, that is always kind of a red flag for potential tropical activity, because what happens is this sets up, if you get high pressure ridging setting up over here, as looks like will be the case by the time we get to the latter part of the month, this particular forecast map from the 21st to the 26th of August. This just opens the door for tropical systems to move from the east to the west into the Gulf of Mexico, into the southeastern part of the U.S. This is kind of a red flag, kind of a pattern here, something I always watch for this time of the year. So we see high pressure building into southeastern Canada, in this particular case at the 500 millibar level, by later this month. So again, that's a red flag to watch for tropical activity right in this particular region, and certainly we will keep a close eye on that possibility going forward. Well, let's take a look at last night's 060 run of the operational version of the GFS. Kind of doing this backwards at what I normally do. I want to go through the surface maps first and then take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. That's really the storyline here, is the temperature pattern over the next several days. Again, a refreshing air mass blasting in the northeastern quadrant of the nation for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here we begin the day here again with frontal boundary zones. We've had many kind of frontal boundary zones just kind of stalling out in the mid-Atlantic region, and they become focus areas for showers and thunderstorms, and indeed this particular front will as well. Nothing significant in terms of rainfall in the mid-Atlantic region over the next several hours. It may even hold off all day, let's say across Philadelphia and New York City, in terms of rainfall. There may be no rainfall all day in Philadelphia and New York City. A better chance in D.C., but even in D.C. it looks like maybe through mid-afternoon it stays dry, and then maybe late in the afternoon. But all places this evening is a threat for some shower and thunderstorm activity, and certainly can produce some heavy rainfall again, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Watch out for flooding, flash flooding possibilities. So let's move forward here, and we'll see the activity starting to build up by the time we get into the late day, early tonight. And again, notice GFS putting out some heavier rainfall. Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., and they have pretty soaked conditions in terms of soil moisture. They've had quite a bit of rainfall in those areas over the last several days, so that enhances the chance for some flash flooding. It should expand all the way into southeastern Pennsylvania later on tonight in terms of the shower and thunderstorm activity associated with that weak frontal boundary zone, which again just kind of meanders around. It's situated right in this region right here, just a stalled out frontal boundary zone, acts as the focus of shower and thunderstorm activity. Let's jump ahead now into Thursday morning, and by this particular time we'll be looking at the next front, and this next front is a stronger front. And here we go, by the time we get to Thursday evening, we have a strong front backed up. This time it's backed up by strong Canadian high pressure at this particular time tomorrow evening, situated over the upper part of the Midwest, and that will help to push this frontal system farther and farther to the south and east than has been the case in recent days. In other words, this refreshing air mass comes in full throttle Thursday night and Friday into the Mid-Atlantic region, into the Northeast U.S., into the Eastern Great Lakes, and it ultimately moves all the way down into the Carolinas and even the rest of the southeastern part of the U.S. Here we are now by Friday morning. A big change. When you walk outside Friday morning, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, you'll notice a big improvement. Much more comfortable. Again, this nice air mass flows all the way down into the Carolinas and Georgia over the next few days for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday time period. Let's go ahead into the upcoming weekend. Here we are on Saturday. That Canadian high pressure system now moving over to southeastern Canada. Just a beautiful, a terrific weekend setting up in this part of the nation right here. This is the Saturday morning forecast map, and let's go all the way out to Sunday morning, and it's still in control. High pressure with slightly cooler than normal air still hanging on for Sunday. So again, a big improvement coming to the northeastern part of the nation for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The big change will be noticed on Thursday night, tomorrow night, following the passage of a strong cool frontal system, becoming noticeably less humid on Thursday night, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and turning cooler, and it stays terrific for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But before we get there, more shower and thunderstorms, especially late today and tonight. in the Mid-Atlantic region, and some of that rainfall will be heavy at times, and watch out for localized flash flooding, especially south of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border from West Virginia to Virginia, D.C., Maryland, all the way through to the Delmarva Peninsula. And then refreshing air blasts into the region tomorrow night and sticks around right through the upcoming weekend. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.